We've been gone for a month, and suddenly Tangrowth is a deck. Welcome back everyone to more from the Sable Eyes. I'm Mitch and I'm here to talk to you about Tangrowth. It's a weird deck. It's a good deck. It's a fun deck. And it all revolves around this one Stage 1 attacker, Tangrowth for a Grass Knot 10 plus 30 for each colourless energy in our opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost. Now this is really strong against lots of tag team Pokemon because it means that we're going to be able to do a base level of 70 damage, maybe even 100 damage with something that's got 3 retreat cost. But that's not what makes this deck good. The thing that is good about this is that we can pair it up with Absol with Dark Ambition to increase the retreat cost of our opponent's active Pokemon and therefore increase the amount of damage that we're doing. So if we've got 2 or 3 Absol in play, that's an extra 60 or 90 damage that we're going to be doing, and when you add that on to the base damage from the retreat cost that's already on the Pokemon, you're going to be able to get a 2-hit on most things pretty easily. The Pokemon line is relatively simple. We've got a 4/4 line of Tangrowth, as well as 1 copy of Ditto Prism in order to give ourselves the most outs to find a Tangrowth. Like I mentioned, we've got 4 copies of Absol to increase the chances that we're going to find one firstly, and secondly to give ourselves the most damage output possible. If we can get 3 on the bench, we'll be really happy. We also have 3 copies of Jirachi in order to help us with our consistency engine. Jirachi is really, really strong. I'd love to see 4 to give ourselves the best chance of drawing out of it. 3 seems to work okay. Stellar Wish, really strong ability to help us find our trainer cards. We also have a Pheromosa and Buzzwole Tag Team GX, just in case we don't have enough damage output from Tangrowth. Jet Punch is good because it can set up 30 damage counters on 2 Pokemon to help us get to that one shot a little bit easier. And with Beast Energy, Beast Game can potentially take a couple of prizes instead of just 1. So a decent inclusion. You might even use Elegant Soul here or there if you get lucky enough to attach to it multiple times. The rest of the Pokemon on the list are all related to specific matchups. Heracross is particularly for ADP. Once ADP uses its GX attack, it can be a real pain to deal with because they're taking multiple prizes every turn. So Turn the Tables is going to remove that ADP from play, shuffle it in as well as the energy that's attached to it, and force your opponent to set up with fresh Pokemon on the board. They're not going to have any energy in play. You might be able to get yourself a couple of prizes by then. Heracross gives you a chance. It doesn't necessarily win the matchup, but it gives you a chance. We also have 1 copy of Marshadow. Resetting Hole is very strong to remove a bunch of different things that might be popping up. Stadiums like Chaotic Swell could be a pain. We want to make sure we get rid of that so that we can play down our Shrine of Punishment, but I'll talk about that in a minute. And there's a lot of other reasons you can use it. Red Knuckles is also a potential option since Baby Blacephalon is running around. We also have 1 copy of Bench Barrier Mew. We've got this card so that our opponents can't snipe Absols or Tangrowths on the bench. If we lose one of those, we lose damage, so we don't want to lose that. We want to make sure that we keep it. So Bench Barrier can keep those Pokemon safe, and Psy Power is also a decent attack to set up little damage counters here or there that might potentially be able to win you a game. Final Pokemon is Shadowbox Mimikyu. This Pokemon is particularly useful in the Mewtwo matchup. Since we have Shrine of Punishment and ways of spreading damage around, we can potentially put damage counters on multiple Mewtwo, which makes it difficult for our opponent to attack with them. They'll need to find their 1 copy of Stealthy Hood. It's not impossible for them to do, in fact it's very possible, but forcing your opponent to use resources to find that particular card is important, and Mimikyu does that. Since we're playing with basic attackers, as in non-GX attackers, it's going to be really easy for us to try and manipulate how our opponent goes about the prize trade, so we need to make sure that we take as much possible benefit from these cards in order to take knockouts on tag teams. That sums up the Pokemon. It's a very simple, basic line. It's got an attacker and a support line, and then a couple of extra attacks. The same can be said for the supporter line, very simple. We've got Shuffle Draw in Cynthia, 4 copies. 4 copies of Lily for an early game draw, first turn draw to 8, and then later in the game you can use it to supplement your draw. And we also have 2 copies of Rosa, which is a really, really good card in this deck specifically because you can search out a Pokemon, an energy, and a trainer. That's a Tangrowth, an energy with which to attack, and potentially another Tangela with a netball or something like that, but it gives you a lot of flexibility. Moving on to the items, we have 4 copies of Netball, which is going to find ourselves Tangela and Grass Energy. This card's really, really good to find Grass Energy, by the way. Definitely want to be using it for that. We also have 4 copies of Pokemon Communication, which can find Pokemon, obviously. We have 2 copies of Great Catcher in order to gust out Pokemon that we want to guarantee knockouts on. We can bring out something that's got no energy on it. It's going to have a huge retreat cost with multiple Absol in play, and it's going to be hard for them to get out of the active. We've also got 1 copy of Lana's Fishing Rod to shuffle a Pokemon and a tool back into the deck. If we need to put another Tangrowth back in, we can. We can also get our 2 copies of Escape Board back with this card as well. Escape Board giving Jirachi retreat options, and for everything else in the deck, we have Switch. Most of the Pokemon that we have only got 1 retreat cost anyway, apart from, obviously, the big boys in Tangrowth and Pheromosa Buzzwole. Finally, we have 2 copies of Reset Stamp in order to stamp our opponent down to a low hand size. Since we're playing basic, non-GX Pokemon, we're going to be able to potentially stamp our opponent down to 1, so we want to make sure we can find that when we need it. And we also have 3 copies of Shrine of Punishment as our stadium of choice. This is really good at giving us those extra damage counters that we need to guarantee half hits, and it also means that things like Mewtwo are not going to be able to attack us, which is really important. Finally, the energy, we have 1 copy of Beast Energy, which is obviously just for Buzzwole Pheromosa. That can enable you to do 80 damage with Beast Game GX, which can knock out a Jirachi for 2 prizes. We also have 7 copies of Grass Energy in order to attack with Tangrowth. Obviously, you can search those out with Netball, but we're going to hopefully be finding the energies naturally anyway. The deck's fun. Deck's a lot of fun. It's a good list. If you're looking for something that's easy to get into and is relatively competitive, then this might be the deck for you. Let's see how it goes in some gameplay. Alright, here we go. Playing against Zapdos TCG. This is a name that I'm familiar with, so we'll see how we go here. Didn't get the coin flip, but that's okay. Fire and Grass is going to be interesting. This is an interesting start. I've got Jirachi and an Escape Board, so that's good. I've got Ditto Prism, so I'm going to be okay in that I've already got a Tangela to evolve into a Tangrowth. It just depends on what we're playing against here, and it looks like Beast Energy, Fire Energy, Greens. Like, this could be Blacephalon with the Greens is probably the way to go, so... cool, we've got a Tangela there too, so we're going to be all good to go. Won't play any of those cards down just yet. Not expecting to get stamped here, and I don't want my opponent to kind of know what I'm playing just yet. I want him to make some decisions based off of incomplete information. So he started Pheromosa, which is a strong start, and gets a Welder as well. So he's going to be ready to go on Blacephalon GX. Maybe it's Blacephalon GX instead of the babies. Well, I guess I could still be the baby, because, I mean, they play the GX in that deck anyway. Welder for 2, and then, yeah, Pokédoll. So this is going to be baby Blacephalon. Going into the Pokédoll on turn 1, and that's probably not a bad turn for him. Able to get a couple of energy onto a Blacephalon GX, but the good thing for me is that Blacephalon GX with 2 retreat is going to be base 70 damage. And shouldn't be too hard to get a knockout on now. I've got Tangela, I've got Ditto, I'll chuck those down, little Stellar Wish, I'll grab the Cynthia here, and I'll probably attach one of these energies onto Tangela. Escape Board, I don't know, maybe I'll just put down like the Jirachi, and then retreat into that Jirachi. I don't need to play Cynthia right now. Could force my opponent to... yeah, no, why not? We'll just hang on to it. We've got everything that we need. We'll just Stellar Wish. We got a Netball and a Rosa there. That Rosa could be good. Maybe we hang on to that for next turn. We've got a Switch. Yeah, why not? What we'll do is we'll just hang on to this hand. I'll take the Rosa, and that way, if my opponent does knock out this Jirachi, then I can Rosa, and then have my board kind of set up. I can half hit this Blacephalon GX. Probably not the best play. I probably should have Cynthia'd, but, you know, it's okay. It'll be fine. What is the worst thing that can happen? Goes to the Fiery Flint, discards 2 fire, so he's got like 4 fire energy in the bin now, 2 in the field of play, and Blacephalon just goes through energy so quickly. He's going to pull out another 4 here. On the plus side, he's going to need to bin this Lily's Pokédoll in order to get an attack off, so maybe I won't have to deal with that one. And the fact that I've got the Rosa for next turn if he does get a knockout is a positive. If he doesn't take a knockout, then I can just Cynthia Lily's Pokédoll effect there onto the bottom of the deck. So it looks like we will be going for the Blacephalon GX. It just depends. Is he going to Mind Blown or Burst? You have to think that it would be Mind Blown as an attachment onto the Pheromosa. Knows that I'm going to be looking to get a bunch of Absols down next turn. And fair enough. And there's the Mind Blown. Okay, so taking a prize which activates Rosa for me. Just depends where this energy comes from. It's from the active. Alright, so promote Jirachi, and then we will be good to go. So let's see what we can get into here. Probably would have been better to play the Cynthia last turn and could have found some Absols to help get that powerful turn off. In fact, I really regret doing that. That was a bit of a mistake. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but that's okay. We'll still wish. We've got ourselves a Shrine and a Pokemon Communication. I reckon both of those could be good. I think the Calm is going to be better though, although this Shrine's probably not going to be super useful against anything other than this Blacephalon. Pokecom means I can shuffle away this Heracross and grab myself a Absol. There's only 2 in deck. It's a bit of a concern, that's okay. We'll have to unprize them. We're going to be half hitting this Blacephalon GX anyway, so it's not the end of the world. Absol, play that down onto the bench. Then we're looking at a Reset Stamp, or I can put him down at 5 cards. And then, yeah, we'll be playing a supporter here, Rosa. We'll grab a Tangrowth. It'll get me... what else could it get me? Get me a Netball, like that, because that could be a basic or an energy, and obviously the Grass Energy too. So that sets up an attacker for next turn and gives me another Tangela, which will be good. I've got the Grass Energy on the Ditto, and then I'll play the Netball, and I can grab the Tangela now. So I've got all of my attackers set up. I don't have a huge amount of Absol in play, but I am half hitting this Blacephalon, which is fine. Force him to commit more energy. But he probably doesn't want to commit, and I'll just hit into this for 100. Not perfect, probably could have got some extra stuff going on there, but even if I did just have 1 or 2 more Absol, like there's only 2 in the deck, if I had both of them I wouldn't have taken a knockout anyway, so it's not the end of the world. And our opponent now in a position where they can take a free knockout, but we're going to be able to hit for 80 onto that Blacephalon GX. We've got the Great Catcher in hand, and if we are lucky, we might even be able to get like a Beast Energy and hit for 80 with the GX attack on Buzzwole, Pheromosa, take 3 prizes. So we'll see. Anything could happen. But yeah, no, so there it is, the confirmation. It is Baby Blacephalon. We've got the baby coming down onto the field. The attachment on the active. Hopefully no welder. You have to be careful. If they're playing the greens version of Blacephalon, then they're probably going to have Beast Ring. So we're going to need to be careful if we do take this knockout. That's why I'd really like to take it with Buzzwole Pheromosa if we can, but that's still really bad because it leaves a 3-prize grass Pokemon in play, which is not good. We're probably just going to have to go with Tangela here and just accept we're going to be on the Beast Ring turn for a while. Oh, this second Great Catcher, that's like not what I wanted. Cynthia, hopefully we can find ourselves a Tangela here. Oh, the Tangrowth, there it is. Fantastic, so I can play that down. I can thin that Buzzwole Pheromosa from our hand. I could go for the Beast Game GX here, actually, because I've got the Beast Energy, which is quite impressive, actually, but I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's going to just be an evolution on this Ditto. We've still got a Stellar Wish, so I can use that. Lana's Fishing Rod might be more useful for later. I want to save this stamp. I reckon, yeah, the Shrine seems the best thing. Get rid of that Ultra Space. It's probably the way to go. Or you can save the Marshadow for later. I don't want my opponent to be able to just grab out Pokemon every turn if I can avoid it. Yeah, maybe we will Reset Stamp, just put him down to 4, make it as difficult as we can. Obviously, if he doesn't have the access to the Pokemon, then it's going to be tough for him to take knockouts. His hand essentially needs to be Welder and Triple Energy, which is very possible, but I think this is probably the best way to go, and we're taking our first couple of prizes, so looking good. We've got, there's an Absol, fantastic, and we've got Pokecom, so we can get ourselves another Tangrowth. We've got a Tangela to put down. we're in a really good position here, and our opponent doesn't have a huge amount of stuff they can do, but they do get the Beast Ring, so that's a little bit frustrating. 2 onto the active. They still need 2 energy in hand. Oh, the greens is going to get it. That's a bit disappointing. They need 2 energy in hand to take a knockout on the Tangrowth because of weakness, which means that they'd need to find 3 energy, but greens is going to be able to find that energy for them, no problem. So that's a little bit disappointing, but it's not unexpected. It's okay, and we're going to be tied up on prizes here anyway. I didn't quite catch what those cards were there. I was looking at my discard pile. Fiery Flint, gonna discard 2. There's a couple of Pokegears, so he's obviously got a supporter in hand, you'd have to think, to get rid of 2 Pokegears. This is gonna put 4 energy, 1 for the active and 2 for the knockout. Saving 1 for next turn. So, I mean, it's going okay. Oh, another Beast Ring, so oh my goodness, so that last card was a Beast Ring, which he's gonna put on the baby Blacephalon on the bench. Only 1 though. Maybe he's only got 1 energy left in deck. This could be really big. If I get a knockout here, and his prize is bad, I could be in a really strong position. Only 1 card. Alright, let's see. Great Catcher is useless. We've got Absol, so we'll be able to play that down. Pokemon Communication is obviously going to find Tangrowth. Let's have a look, see. Oh, Cynthia. Can I even get the Pokecom? Nah, Cynthia's the way to go. Give myself some draw, because I still need the energy as well. So we'll play down the Absol. We'll put down Tangela. We can get the Pokecom. We can get rid of the Buzzwole. Then we grab ourselves a Tangrowth. Alright, so now it just comes down to, can I find the energy here? I got 1, 2. I'll put down the Marshadow, I guess, because I can burn it if I need to. And there's the energy. 3 lilies. Gee whiz. Okay, cool. No worries. So we're going to be able to at least attack here. It's not ideal, but we've got the attack. Grass, not. 130 is perfect mass for 1 Blacephalon, and as long as our opponent doesn't get anything off of these last 2 cards, we should be in a really strong spot, and a Cynthia as well. So depending on how we go, we could play a multitude of different supporters here. Pheromosa comes into the active. Our opponent obviously kind of giving up on the knockout. That's okay. They could potentially... Oh, he's got Fire Crystal and Welder. Unbelievable, those last 2 cards. That's okay. That's fine. This is fine. Because realistically, there's not a huge amount that he can do because he's still stuck in the active. He needs 2 energy on this Pheromosa, so he is stuck there for the foreseeable future. I'm not going to be able to get a knockout easily on this Pheromosa, but I am going to at least be able to hit it, and I'll hit it for 70 damage. So I can 2-hit this thing. Gives my opponent some time to get back into the game, though. It's not what I want. It'd be good if we can somehow get that Blacephalon into the active, but hey, it's okay. It's whatever happens, happens. It's fine. It's gonna be fine. So high jump kick is nothing. Another high jump kick could be something though. We better watch out for that. We've got a netball we could play here and a Cynthia. We don't need to do anything else to get ourselves a knockout, but we will use the netball to grab a grass energy. I'm going to attach that to Tangela. I might even consider using Marshadow to get rid of this shrine, just so I can thin out the shrine that's in my hand. I'm not expecting my opponent to have any other Pokemon, so Pokemon GX. So I think I'll do that, and then Lily. I don't need anything else. Oh, there's an Absol there. That's not a bad one to get. I'll play that down. It doesn't actually matter in the grand scheme of things, but it means that I'm 10 damage short of the knockout here. So I could potentially take that knockout with a Buzzwole if push comes to shove, which would be very strong. If I was able to do that, then I could snipe it on the bench and take that knockout. Opponent's got another Blacephalon. It's about energy though. He needs 2 energy still. So he needs, what, 1 energy in for the attachment, and then 2 to discard. Plays 1 catcher. Draws an Ultra Space. That'll search us out that Buzzwole Pheromosa GX, but it's not a good time to use it because if our opponent gets just a couple of fire energy, then it's going to be easily able to take a big knockout, and a greens exploration as well. This is I'm worried that my opponent's going to find some way to just get out of this. So That Pheromosa is going to probably retreat into the Blacephalon, and I'll need to find a new Tangrowth. That's okay. It's not ideal, but it's okay. Double Fire Crystal. Okay, so that's 6 energy in hand, which means our opponent's effectively set. They're ready to go. They're probably going to attach to the Pheromosa and retreat. They could even attach to a fresh Blacephalon, to be honest, and just high jump kick again, because then they only need 1 more energy. So that could be a way to go. Tough one. That's okay. I'm still in the game though, which is good. And that one turn where the high jump kick was the only option for our opponent has put us in a position where we're ready to win the game. And it looks like they're going to place that that energy onto the Blacephalon on the bench. So this is going to make it a little bit safer for them, a little bit easier to get what they need to get. We've got a shrine here. We'll replace that stadium. I don't need to find another Tangrowth right now. I think I'll just take the knockout. This is a risk. Again, could have played a Cynthia there to give myself an extra out to finding Pokemon, but that's okay. Oh, sorry, I had 3 Absols down that whole time. He couldn't retreat. What am I talking about? Sorry, I'm being a silly person. Okay. So, Blacephalon's going to discard 1. Oh, he's got the Welder as well, so he's got the attackers. So now it's just a matter of, can my opponent find the energy he needs to take the knockouts, and he needs 2, and there's a Fire Crystal, so he just needs 1 more energy, which he probably already has from the previous Fire Crystal. And there's a Victini as well. How am I going to go about this? And he's stamped me. Oh no. Okay, now I'm in big trouble. Big trouble. Okay, I've got a Netball, I've got a Buzz Pheromosa. He's going to knock me out here. I'm going to go into Jirachi. I might be relying very heavily on a top deck here. Let's see. Let us see. Okay. So. Oh my goodness, that's the sickest top deck I've ever seen. Alright, Pokemon, get rid of the Buzzwole. Alright, here we go. We've got the Tangrowth. That means now I can use the netball to find a grass basic Tangela. I'll put that down on the bench probably. Just double checking to see how many supporters I've got here, how likely I am to be grabbing things off of the top. So we'll play the netball. We've got a Tangela. I don't actually have another Tangrowth. I need to find this fishing rod so that I can get another Tangrowth into deck, because if this last Tangrowth goes down and I don't have access, then I'm going to be in big trouble. Oh, there's a Lily. Look at this. Look at this. We're living the dream. Alright. Lily for 6. A big smiley face indeed. We've got a Mew. We've got a Mimikyu. It's not the cards that I need, but that's okay. We're going to get a knockout here. Our opponent is going to be forced to try and find 2 energy to take a knockout on this Tangrowth. If they can't do that, and they've used lots of resources already, if they can't do that, then we win. So if they can't knock it out, then we win. If they can, then we've got a Jirachi and a Cynthia to try and find that rod, and then the next Tangrowth and an energy. Jeez, this is going to be really tough if he gets this knockout. So it's going to be pretty tight. Acro Bike discards an Ultra Space. That doesn't matter anymore. Another Acro Bike. Okay. That is going to discard. This must be a tough choice. Must be a tough choice. Very tough choice. Obviously, it doesn't have a huge amount of energy left. Otherwise, it probably would have gone into Victini, I would have thought. Maybe he's worried about getting... Oh my god, he got rid of the Fiery Flint. Okay, so he must not have energy left. He must need to get the Fire Crystal. Okay, so we could be in with a shot here. Welder. Okay, so he had 1. Okay. That's worrying. Goes under the Victini, draws 3. He's only got 4 cards left in deck. Acro Bike, oh my word. Ugh. It goes down to 2, discards a custom. I'm nervous. 2 cards left. Come on, surely you've got 2 energy. Or a Fire Crystal or something like that. The promotion of the Blacephalon is going to be a big whiff here. That's going to be a big problem. Maybe he didn't put the Victini forward, being worried that he wouldn't be able to get energy into the discard or into his hand to actually use Fireball Circus next turn, but on a beast. Okay, so what are we looking at here? This seems like this is a Blazer play. Maybe there's, yeah, Blazer. Maybe there's energy prized. Well, that's not an energy, so it's only going to do 80. Yeah, that's Heartbreak. That is Heartbreak, and there's the concession. Well, there you go. So Tangrowth's pretty good. It can beat Blacephalon. I got a little bit lucky, but hey, sometimes you have to. So, yeah, there you go. So there you go, that's how Tangrowth works, I guess. Like I said, I got a little bit lucky at the end there, but this card's a pretty decent one if you're the type of person that wants to play a budget deck, something that's a little bit easier to get into, something where you don't need to splash the big bucks, then this could be a way to go. Grassknots, it's good, it's a fun deck, it's fun to play, so would definitely recommend. If you like the channel and you like the content, then consider subscribing. We're going to be trying to do a little bit more frequent uploads than we have over the last month, so hopefully that happens over the next few weeks. If you like the content, then subscribe. There'll be a little button just about here. Subscribe. Over here, there are some videos that you can watch, and over this side, there is a playlist for you. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at the SableEyes YT, and we'll see you next time for more. Bye.